Hello everyone, this is RKD from JoyT5, and today we're going to do a demo video of this Rippa R13 mini excavator. As always, in our demo videos, we'll start by doing a walk around of the exterior, then take a look inside the engine compartment. After that, we'll show you the interior of the cab, and in the end of the video, we'll show you how this machine moves and drives. The machine that we have here today has every possible upgrade that can be ordered from Rippa, including these steel tracks plus rubber bolt-on pads. So this is the best of both worlds. Steel tracks will last longer, they won't stretch as much, and rubber bolt-on pads will allow you to drive over pavement and concrete without damaging it. This R13 machine has following features and upgrades, starting from diesel Kubota D722 engine, triple gear pump, hydraulic oil cooler, a side swing boom, U-boom, hydraulic thumb, hydraulic quick hitch, extendable tracks, steel tracks, and bolt-on pads. One of the key selling features of the R13 model is for contractors that needs to work in the narrow environment, for example, when you're trying to get into the backyard or possibly inside a building, because when you pull the tracks in, this machine is only 75 centimeters wide, which is about 2.5 feet, which means that you can get through pretty much any man door. That's a very important feature that contractors love. Here's a close-up of the bucket. Now we have our hydraulic quick hitch with a lifting hook. It can come in quite handy. By following the hose, you can find a second set of auxiliaries with a quick connect for the quick hitch. In my opinion, that's a very handy feature because quick hitches, they add a lot of convenience, and you can put on and take off the buckets with the push of a button. At the same time, there is a trade-off, and the trade-off is that your distance between the arm and the bucket is longer, and the longer this distance, the less breakup power the bucket's going to have. So if you're going to dig in a very hard soil where you need extra braking power, I would recommend to take off the quick hitch and just connect the bucket directly to the arm. It will improve your digging performance. And with that quick hitch, that's very easy to do and can be done quite fast. Second application where it would be beneficial to remove the quick hitch is if you need to use the hydraulic thumb for the job that you're doing quite often, because the hydraulic thumb here is fairly short, and with the quick hitch on, it will not mesh properly with the bucket. So alternative is hydraulic thumb can be extended, but you would have to do a Y-shaped thumb, because when you're going to curl the thumb closer to the boom, you will hit the boom if it's going to be longer. Moving up the arm, we can notice a cast steel mounting points on the boom over here and at the base of the boom. This is a more expensive way of doing it, but it adds extra rigidity and longevity to the boom assembly. You will find it commonly on the name brand machines, but it's quite rare on the import machines. As mentioned in our other videos, Rippa is constantly improving, and they pay attention to their quality, and this is just one of the examples that Rippa does differently. Also, this machine has a U-boom with a boom cylinder being on top. Key benefits of that is the chances of damaging the cylinder is minimal, because there's not much you can hit it with when it's on top. And even if you're going to curl something too close in a bucket, the worst thing that's going to happen is you might hit the boom underneath, but that's just metal, and that's just a touch-up paint. Secondary benefit is that your hoses, they run inside the boom, which means that there are a lot safer and less chance of damaging them. That is why, in my opinion, if there's an option to get a U-boom, that's well worth it. And then last but not least is U-boom actually increases your digging depth because the cylinder doesn't get in the way. It was a surprise for me when we were digging with the R18, and we'll have a separate video on that, where we dug an 8-foot trench. And R18 was able to do it, but when we were trying to do it, or when we're thinking of trying to do it with the R22 that we had on stock, the R22, even though it's a bigger boom and a bigger machine, because it didn't have a U-boom and the cylinders underneath, the digging depth on the R22 is actually slightly less than on an R18. On this side of the boom, we have a work lathe. And then here we can see a view of the side boom assembly. Since R13 is the pro version for contractors, you can notice that the side boom assembly is a cast steel, which is again more rigid assembly than just the welded part, and definitely way more expensive than getting a piece welded together. Here we have our blade with the folding out flaps. When you working, the flaps should be out, so your blade will be as wide as the tracks. And then this, you can see the difference between the blade right now and how far the tracks can be pulled out. One of the improvements that we noticed in 2025 is that Rippa replaced this part with the metal one, and also the body is metal as well. In 2024, that was done with the fiberglass. And if you look at our older videos, we have a JoyT5 1.2 ton excavator. That's basically the same machine as the R13, but from the 2024. So in my opinion, that's a nice improvement. And I do like steel more than fiberglass. Here is a close-up of the steel tracks with rubber pads. As mentioned in the beginning of the video, this is double upgrade. You can get just steel tracks by themselves, and rubber pads bolt-on is the second upgrades on it. I really like this option because, as mentioned, it is the best of the both worlds. Plus, in the unlikely scenario of damaging like a rubber piece, if you're going to cut it on something sharp, if you work in aggressive environments, you can replace the individual pads, right? They're just 2 bolts on each side. You can kind of see it over there to install it. So very nice. And then the longevity of the steel tracks is higher than the rubber ones. Here you can see close-up of the double-speed turbo motors. As you see, they're tucked in, and hoses have the wire braiding to help reduce the chances of damage. Pay attention to the length of the tracks. They are longer than the machine itself, and especially on the smaller machines, you want to have the tracks as long as possible, because that will add you extra stability during digging, and also increase your lifting capacity, because your machine won't tip as fast. For reference, you can take a look at our channel. We have lifting test videos on the JoyT5 120p, which is basically the same design machine as the R13, and you can compare it to gasoline 1 ton yard hole YH12, and this machine can lift noticeably more. And one of the biggest factors is the cast counterweight that you see in the back here, and the longer tracks. Here's a close-up of the engine compartment. Over here we have our Kubota D722 diesel engine. There is a solenoid, which is an upgrade from the 2024 model. In the JoyT5 120p videos, you can notice that there used to be a handle there. It controlled the switch between the extendable tracks and the dozer control. And with the solenoid, it works a lot better. And there is no issues with when you lift the machine up and you switch manually. If you do it too slow, you can actually experience a phenomenon where the machine will drop a little bit, because there's a certain point the mechanical valve has both in and out open. Then over here we have our radiator with two parts. On the left we have a hydraulic line. This is part of the hydraulic oil cooler. On the right you can see the fill cap for the radiator for the engine. There is the engine coolant expansion bottle. Here's a battery. We have a battery switch with three positions, on, off, and out. So this can be used first as the battery prevention from being drained if you don't use the machine for a long time. And you can also take the key out as a theft prevention measure, right? Because then it will have no power to start the machine. Here we have our hydraulic oil fill cap and the hydraulic side glass over there. As mentioned, this machine has triple pump. Here we have a double pump. You see two hoses coming in. And then the third pump, we'll be able to see by looking from the top. Hard to focus, but that would be that silver piece over there with a hose going in it. Here's a close-up of the engine compartment from the other side, and you can see the split of the radiator. It's by this weld where it separates between the hydraulic oil cooler and the engine cooler. And here's a look on the engine from the other side. Now let's take a look on the inside of the machine. You can enter it from both sides, and there are two hydraulic locks like this. Once you get in, you can lower it down to engage the hydraulics. Both hydraulic locks need to be in a down position in order for hydraulics to work. This is going to be our engine throttle, and then we have several switches over here. Switch over here is going to be our selector between the extendable tracks and a dozer blade. This is our hydraulic quick hitch. Then over here we have our speed control between high and low gear and our lights. These two levers is for your driving, one for the left track, one for the right. The pedals on the bottom, we have two pedals on each side. They can be flipped up if you need them out of the way, and they will be controlling your side swing boom and hydraulic thumb. On this side we have our ignition key and the lever for our dozer blade. Now let's take a look at our bars over here. As you see, they are U-shaped and there is no canopy. Question maybe why Rippa didn't just add a canopy from the beginning. The reason for it is, as you see in this joint, by taking out the top bolt, the bar can be folded down over the boom. This is done to minimize storage space. And again, if you need to get through the door and the height of the door is less than the height of the machine, that's fairly easy to do. And then this part is a stopper, which will stop the bar from going down too much. If the canopy was there, it would not be possible to fold down the bars. In 2025, Rippa upgraded their seat. This seat has a material that feels thicker now. It is still soft, and Rippa's saying that it will last longer in the sun and prevent cracking. Then it has a water drain hole to help water to escape. And let's be honest, nobody likes to sit in a puddle when they jump on the machine. It has a retractable seat belt that makes it more convenient and keeps it out of the way when you get out. And also it has the adjustable headrest. Now let's move on to the fun part, and we'll show you how this machine runs. So to start it, since it's a diesel, first we're gonna turn the key to the left and wait for 5 to 8 seconds to glow plug the engine. Okay, now we should be able to start it. It starts like a charm. Then I will lower the second hydraulic lock. I will add some throttle. With this machine, because it's a gear pump, you can actually stall out the engine if your RPMs are too low. So We'll increase them. And first, let's see how our boom gonna move. So first thing first, we have to make sure that we have a solid footing. So we will lower the blades to give us stability. Okay. Now let's lift the boom, bringing the arm, curl the bucket. Let's try multiple motions at the same time. So lowering the boom. Okay, as you see, when the boom is being lowered, you can easily do 3 motions together. One thing that I noticed when you run the machine, it's because it is a gear pumps, right? So I can't really expect same performance as the piston pumps you would get on the R13 or GT200 or larger machines that we offer. But when you try to lift the boom, it doesn't jerk, but it's still, there's a bit of a delay there, right? And as you see right now, I can do it fairly soft, right? There's no jerky, machine doesn't shake. But when I try, and again, it might be just my limitation, but when I try to lift the boom and bring in the arm with the bucket at the same time, it is a little bit challenging for me to do it super smooth. So I'll just show you what I mean. So I don't know if you can notice it on the video, but it's kind of doing it in the steps, I would say. And again, like, it's not like it's jerking, but it just feels different. But I just think it's just limitation of the gear pumps. And on the machines of this size, piston pumps are just not the option. So again, it is still very smooth for a small machine with the gear pumps, but not the same as the larger machines that have piston pumps. Now let's try our side swing boom. What it allows you to do is to offset your bucket pretty much any distance within the width of the tracks, and actually be a little bit beyond the tracks width to be able to dig like close along the wall or a fence or a foundation. So here's how it works. So right now our pivot point is at the tracks. And as you see, if there was a wall right here, I would be able to get close to it and dig right along it. We can also do it into the other side. Just reposition it. Okay, now let's show you how the extendable tracks work. So what we're going to do first, we're going to swing around to lift the machine off the ground. Okay, first what we're going to do, we're going to lift the front of the machine with the dozer blade. You don't need to go high, just a little bit. And then we'll use the bucket to lift the rear. Okay, that's going to be enough. Now we're going to press a button to switch between the extendable tracks and the dozer blades. And with the same lever as the dozer blade, we'll be able to pull the tracks in. This is the position that you will use just to driving through the gates. You do not want to dig in this position because you're going to lose your stability or some of your stability when you're going to go over the side. So again, only for driving. Another thing, and here is just to show you, I will put the machine down and try to swing the bucket. Pay attention to the tail of the machine. Right now we are beyond the tracks over here, right? So that's why there's really no point of digging in this position, as you're no longer zero tail, and if you're standing by a wall, for example, you would hit that wall with your rear. Okay, let's extend the tracks. So again, we're lifting the machine with the dozer blades. You want to make sure that the cab is straight. And now we're gonna lift the back. Okay, hit the switch and extend the tracks. Now we'll show you how this machine drives. R13 is one of the quickest mini excavators that we tried. And here how it drives right now in the turtle modes. You can make it smooth if you wanted to. As you see, I can inch it if I like, and there is no jerking. Same thing in reverse. And then if we'll put on the rapid mode, it's going to be a lot faster. And I can still try to move slow in the rapid mode as well. But again, for fine movements, use a turtle. We hope that you enjoyed this video. Soon our channel will have demo videos for all of the R series machines, including the R10, R13, R15, R18, R22, R32. And if you're going to have any suggestions that maybe we didn't show in the videos that we already posted, please let us know, and we'll try to show it in the demo videos of the future machines. If you're going to have any questions about Rippa or JoyT5 equipment, that includes the mini excavators, skid steers, wheel loaders, drum compactor, or custom attachments, please visit JoyT5.com or give your nearest dealer a call. And as always, thank you for watching, like and subscribe.